आवाज आई गेस मैम तक नहीं पहुंच रही।
आ रही है, मुझे तो आ रही है। मुझे तो आवाज आ रही है एकदम। आप लोग को आ रही है मेरी आवाज?
हाँ
हेलो।
मैम आ
यस
रही है।
मैम यस।
सिमर को
हाँ मैम
बोलो
आ रही
इसमें
है आवाज।
जल्दी ज्वाइन करे। हाँ हाँ। हाँ सिमर।
Recording in progress.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है सबको?
यस।
हाँ।
प्रीति मैम के दो दो है ना एंट्री?
हाँ हाँ।
हाँ।
जस्ट चेकिंग। इट्स टू लेट।
मैम whenever you
स्टार्ट इट फास्ट।
okay,
बहुत
can
लेट हो
we do
गया है।
the prayer?
या।
नमो अरिहंताणम, नमो सिद्धाणम, नमो आयर्याणम, नमो उवज्जयाणम, नमो लोए सब सहुणम, ऐसो पंच नमोकारो सब पाप प्रणासनम, मंगलाणं च सवेस्यं पद्मं हवै मंगलम. I will. It's the first time I have said the Namokar Mangal without reading it from
वेरी गुड।
paper. Big achievement today.
यस, ऑल
Okay.
द बेस्ट।
I'm requesting for me to share the screen. Host, Yesha,
या
or ma'am, your host, please.
या। आई मेड यू होस्ट।
Okay. And, okay, there is a lot here. Sorry. Can you all see the screen?
यस।
And
Yes.
it's full
यस
screen for everybody? Okay. It's full screen for everybody?
यस यस।
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm sure everybody studied about Antiquity of Jainism for the exam. And uh, actually, Jainism is a relatively new word. It's the British and people who were into Oriental studies really came up with this word. You know, if you look at it historically, the parampara is called Shramanic, like Shraman parampara, जो अपने खुद के श्रम से who are able to get over their own vices, and their work is to be on the moksha marg, so which requires a lot of hard work and tapasya. And they were also actually for a long time, actually in the recent years, uh, recent meaning from Mahavirji's time, about 2,500 years ago, that it has built a reputation of being anti-Vedic. It's actually what had happened is that a lot of people think Jainism is an offshoot of Hinduism, because when during Lord Mahavir's time, there was a time that the Brahmins had really taken into the forefront of politics, economics, everything, culture. So there were a lot of problems with that excess and excessive mindset of the Vedic parampara, which was opposed. But this is not where the story of Jainism starts. So it is actually, we'll understand how it is pre-Vedic and how it is not an offshoot of Vedic parampara, or even Hinduism is a new word. So when we talk about religions, हम जैन धर्म की जो जैन दर्शन की बात कर रहे हैं, और वो वैदिक दर्शन की भी बात करेंगे हम, so it is actually pre-Vedic, because हमें काफी वेदों में भी पता चलता है about the rich history of the Shraman parampara. These are some images I took in Bilaspur earlier this year, when I had interaction with some Digambar Munis and nuns. So, it is said that Jainism is anadhi nidhan, or timeless. So as you're already aware of the time cycle, and it is in this time cycle, we are in the downward time cycle, and there is also an upward and progressive cycle. And in this cycle, there are 63 personalities that appear. And it is actually only later, when the Tirthankars appear, there is a need to a need for dharma. There is a need for being on a certain path and organizing ourselves with some ethics as a part of society. Before that, there was a lot of abundance, and there were, as we've studied, a lot of kalpvriksh that would, satiate the needs of society then. But we see that as through this regressive cycle, the beings change form, they change size. And it is not, although the descriptions of Tirthankars, when it starts with like the early Tirthankar, the first Tirthankar Rishabdev, it feels like it is alien-like, the descriptions of the height and this many dhanush and everything. But it is not an Apaurushaya religion. It is very much a Paurushaya, human-centric, humanity-driven religion, or darshan, as we can call it. See, because before Mahavir, we find that it was Shrut Parampara, not just, it was a part of the Indic culture, not just Jains. Jains even more, because even writing was considered parigraha. So even before Mahavir, not just Jainism, but even in Vedic parampara and all, it was mostly oral tradition. It was never written down. In fact, even today in Dr. Peter Flugel's one paper, the most interesting thing that he writes in the beginning is that the least known about Jainism is Jain libraries, which are hidden. A lot of us don't know about Jain libraries because the act of writing and telling this narrative was considered parigraha. And there is no beginning and end to this universe. So in this time cycle, if you ask when did it begin, it did not have a beginning or an end. It is a religion of truth. It is, every story, every religion, every culture has a creation myth, that how everything came to existence. What is the meaning of it all? But in Jainism, there is no beginning or an end. And it predates all the major religions that we have heard of. Although I have quoted here the red scarab on Jainism, can you hear me? Because I cannot see any of you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Simar, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
So
we can.
thank you, ma'am. I have quoted the red scarab on Jainism. Red Scarab is a blog. I have posted their link here. I'll share this presentation later. इस पे link को click करोगे. So there is this couple and they've gone through a journey across India and they have written so beautifully. They're not Jain. They're travelers and they write about food and culture. But they have gone to less known sites on Jainism. And it so happens I realize after reading them that they are friends of mine. So I quoted this thing. These two paragraphs are taken from this website. I have given the citation here. These are some more images that I have taken. वहां पे एक बहुत बड़ी मूर्ति थी आदिनाथ भगवान की, who is the first Tirthankar who taught us the ways of how to, he's also the father of civilization, on how to live, how to be, the 64 arts and many more things. So in that sense, in one sense, if you want to call somebody a founder, it would be Rishabh Dev, but actually it is not a founder. He's not a founder because ये चलता आ रहा है. And people are just playing their roles, and there are these manifestations, and they bring us to our path again and again. And no teacher is teaching anything different. Like you'll see, the last Tirthankar has added one more thing about celibacy, but that is also considered under a parigraha only. So no one is teaching anything new. It doesn't mean anything if you worship one Tirthankar over the other. They're all giving the message of non-violence and aparigraha and anekantavad and satya. And these things are basically essential and more important for today's time. We find in written scriptures and mythology and folklore about Jainism, and also from physical references like stupas, inscriptions, artifacts, and statues, and we will get to that in a bit. So many people have told us about this tradition. Just one second. So we will just discuss about this Vedic, like how Jainism is not an offshoot of Vedic parampara, right? Basically, Dr. Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, who's an amazing writer, हमने हिंदी में भी बहुत stories पढ़ी हैं इनकी. He said that the cultural and philosophical struggles between Shraman and Brahmanic traditions, as highlighted by Sanskrit grammarian Panini, he refers to them. And he says that it was the Shramans who advocated equality, non-violence, and renunciation. And also referring to Greek authors from 3rd century, that the Shramans and Brahmans were different, right? And the languages were also different. Prakrit, which is the language of the Jains, and Sanskrit, which means constructed, which came later, is the language of the Brahmins. Also, there are no Aryan origins of Jainism, but we'll come to the word Aryan later. Deshmukh said that the first Jain Tirthankar linked the Indus Valley, where deities were nude or bare. Jainism preserved this cultural tradition. We will look at some of the seals in some time. Also, Colebrook said that the non-Aryan roots of Jainism noted in the observations on the sect of Jains. And Dr. Juziva, she said Jainism likely emerged from pre-Aryan, non-Vedic traditions, emphasizing a distinctive ethnical and cultural environment. देशपांडे जी ने भी ये बोला है कि निवृत्ति and the vratas and the Trigupti, these things are very centric to Jain asceticism, and it has always been. And some of the unique rituals like Salekhana, Alochana, Pratikraman, all these things have been preserved for so many years, and it is a Jain tradition. Even in Indus Valley, actually, if you see this seal, मैम ने भी क्लास में मैं बताया था that ऋषभ देव, it is claimed that it is ऋषभ देव Adinath because there are certain, I'll come to a little video I took from ma'am's class in the next slide, and the animals and the bull is a symbol of Adinath. We all know that for a very long time. So Mohenjo-daro Harappa region में जो हमें ये seals मिली हैं, the Vedic parampara claims that this is Shiva, and the Jain parampara claims that this is um, Adinath. And this nude is the torsos from Lohanipur, which is modern day Patna, is also considered to be a Jain sculpture. ये मैम की क्लास थे, अगर आपको याद आया.
Very good.
तो एक्चुअली मैम की प्रेजेंटेशन में इतना कुछ रिसर्च था, ये मुझे ढूंढने में भी नहीं मिल रहा था, तो मैंने मैम का ये क्लिप लगा दिया इसमें कि द लॉक्स ऑफ हेयर दैट वी सी, द जटास टाइप, इज आदिनाथ ऋषभ देव्स seal, this one. And you know, so many animals, and in the Jain culture, I keep saying our culture because I feel like I'm getting into the tradition. In our culture, we find that, you know, the reverence for animals and plants and for all of life has always been there. In fact, most of the Tirthankar symbols are also animals or birds. Most of them, not all of them, some of them. इसके बाद let's go next. Okay, quiz time. You have to tell me what site is this.
Which one?
Oh, 1 second. This one. Can someone guess what this is? I'll give you some hints if you want. It is on the east coast of India. We have studied
Gujarat
about.
में.
हड़प्पा, वो हड़प्पा वाला, मोहनजोदड़ो वाला.
नहीं, ये ईस्ट कोस्ट ऑफ इंडिया में है. हमने यहाँ पे पढ़ा है कि यहाँ पे कुछ केव्स हैं, और यहाँ पे हमें नमोकार मंत्र के भी कुछ कुछ लेबल इंस्क्रिप्शंस मिलते हैं.
Delphi. Delphi.
दिल्ली
नहीं.
है.
नहीं.
अच्छा, एक और हिंट देती हूँ, ये उड़ीसा में है.
हम नहीं, हम्पी तो नहीं है उड़ीसा.
नहीं.
हम्पी
नहीं.
नहीं, हम्पी इज नॉट उड़ीसा. एक है, एक मिनट याद नहीं आ रहा है.
हाथी
पढ़ा हुआ
गुम्फा.
है.
हाथी
हाँ,
गुम्फा.
हाथी गुम्फा.
उदयगिरी
Correct.
खंडगिरी.
हाँ.
उदयगिरी एंड खंडगिरी. हाथी गुम्फा इंस्क्रिप्शन इज वेरी.
खारवेल ना.
आज
राजा
एक्चुअली हम लोग.
खारवेल.
सॉरी.
No, nothing. Continue.
So this inscription is very important, and actually हम जब stone inscriptions and ऐसे proofs के बारे में बात करते हैं, हाथी गुम्फा keeps coming up. But today I'm going to challenge that, and I have some first-hand interviews that I've taken. I've put some clips in the end. So by the way, for all the slides, wherever I have taken information from, I have given a link over here. If you click this, you can reach, or if you search this, you can reach the source of this thing. And I've tried to stick to legit, good scholars, good references, and the source should be solid. And Hathi Gumpha, as we know, is very, very famous. So ये ब्राह्मी स्क्रिप्ट में 17 लाइंस मिलते हैं प्राकृत में, and कुछ first 7-8 lines are a little visible, and this is the site. These are inside.
You took
Because
these images, or you, because these
No.
images are not there on Google, no? Or you found it?
I found them on Google. The ones I have taken, I'm
Okay.
referring to that. And then I'm
Okay.
actually going to rush a little bit because we have less time. So Ashoka के time से हमें because it's in our recency. The thing is that 24 Tirthankars, they've come and gone. Before that, also, there has been a tradition. It's not the first time they have appeared. Every Utsarprini, Avsarprini, they appear. The thing is that because in our recent memory, Mahavirji was just 2,500 years ago, right? So when his when his Diksha happened, or when he gave Deshna, or, all these events are still kind of fresh in our memory. And so, like that, even Ashoka is because he was a ruler, and from his grandfather's time, Chandragupta Maurya's time, all this, them supporting Jainism, Buddhism, their values, and making it a state religion made it very easy for us to now remember, because there are a lot of Ashokan edicts that are available, and and you can actually read this, and actually it has stood the test weeks. एंड इससे पहले काफी कोर्ट के रिचुअल्स जो होते थे मोस्टली वैदिक होते थे, बट येट when Ashoka came to throne, he promoted Jainism. And it is also said that his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya had adopted Jain practices in his later years, where he retired in Shravana Belagola. Now, and it is not hum.
Your video is stuck. All of you are able to hear? Hello? Hello?